Hey everyone, Paul here from polymath.com, and in today's video I wanted to share with you guys a visualization technique that I sometimes use when I'm using the law of attraction to try to manifest something in my life. And I've been watching some YouTube videos with some visual effects, and some of those effects reminded me of some of the visualizations that I do when I'm using law of attraction. So I want to play around with some visual effects today in this video to give you guys an example of what I kind of visualize in my mind when I'm using these techniques for attracting with the law of attraction. So just as an example, I'm going to pick just something random that as an example that I can use to show you guys what I would do when doing a visualization like this. So let's say that I wanted to attract or manifest a vacation to Disneyland for myself and my wife as an example. So a trip to Disneyland, let's say worth $5,000 to $10,000 or something like that. So how would I go about doing that? Well, the first thing that I would do is I would connect to the actual meaning and the feelings behind that trip. So it's not so much about being in Disneyland that is important to me about that event. What's important to me are little snippets of, moments of time and kind of the meaning behind the vacation, as you can say. So imagine for example, like I'm just going to go pick some random ones here, but imagine, for example, being in Disneyland and you're about to go on a roller coaster or a ride that you've never been on, or a ride you have been on that you really enjoy, and you're excited about going on that ride again. So that feeling of excitement, standing in line and you're just about to get on a ride, that excitement that you feel right before you go on that ride. So that is one of the feelings that I can connect to. So, and I can use a word like roller coaster to remind me of that feeling. Secondly, I can think of, as another example, I know that Disneyland has really good corn dogs. At least they did the last time we were there with my wife. So the experience of sharing a corn dog or having a corn dog at Disneyland was fun for myself and for my wife last time we were there. So I can think of that experience and having a corn dog in Disneyland. So that would be, let's say, the second one, and I can use the word corn dog to remind me of that second one. Thirdly, I can think of the sunshine and the warmth of being in California. I mean, right now here in Vancouver, it's raining outside. It's cold, so just thinking about being in a warm climate, being in California was, is something that I would enjoy. So I can think of sunshine, and I can use the word sunshine to remind me of that feeling. And finally, relaxation, taking a break from work and just having some fun and relaxing while I'm there on my trip. So I can use something like that. I can use those four words like roller coaster, corn dog, sunshine, and relaxation to kind of give more meaning to the trip than just going on a trip. Those are really the feelings and the moments and the things that I'm looking for. Now you can pick as many of these as you want. You can go. In fact, the more you visualize, the more more time and energy you spend on getting clear on what it is that you're really going after when trying to manifest something like that. The better and the faster that I find that you manifest these things. So, but just for this video, I'm going to use those four things. And what I normally do is I visualize, and I'm going to just quickly tell you what I do, and then I'm going to give you kind of a step-by-step example of a visualization, and I'll use some visual effects to kind of give you an idea of what it is that I kind of visualize in my mind while I'm doing this. So the visualization technique basically has like 3 or 4 parts essentially. The first thing is to visualize an energy ball. I usually start out really small and I kind of grow it to about the size of an orange or a grapefruit, and I visualize it coming out of where my heart chakra would be and kind of just floating in front of me, around in front of my chest. So I visualize that ball right in front of me, that ball of energy right in front of me, and I start to put energy into it. I start feeding it energy. I start feeding it these, I start putting that all the meaning into it, like the corn dogs, the roller coasters, the sunshine, the relaxation. I start putting those kinds of energies the thoughts and the meaning and the energy behind those feelings and emotions, I start to wrap it into that ball. And as I do that, the ball sits there, and I'm kind of filling it up with that energy, and I'm filling it up, and I'm filling it up. And then all of a sudden, at some point, it'll start to grow, and it'll just all of a sudden explode, and it'll grow to probably about the size of a beach ball. So I visualize that in my mind. And then I keep feeding it that energy. I keep feeding it more meaning, and I keep getting connected more and more to that feeling of actually being there in Disneyland, going on those roller coasters, eating those corn dogs, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the relaxation, and whatever other meanings that I associate with being in Disneyland. And then I keep feeding that energy into this ball, and all of a sudden, at some point, it jumps to the next level, and it's probably the size of about half of this room. And it's just kind of floating up in the air. And then I keep feeding that energy into it, and then all of a sudden at the fourth point, basically the last stage, it just starts to grow on its own, and expands, and it just fills the entire room, and it keeps growing and growing, the size of my house, the size of Vancouver, the size of planet Earth, and it just becomes this giant ball of energy that's out there. It's an invisible energy, but it's out there, and it's definitely affecting things, and it's starting to pull things towards me. It's starting to bring the coincidences, bring the resources, the people, anything and everything starts to align itself in order for me to be able to go and have this vacation and have this experience of being in Disneyland, going on those roller coasters, having those corn dogs, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying and relaxing while I'm there. And I see this ball of energy, and then I feel it, and it reaches a certain point, and when it reaches a certain point, it comes back, and it just collapses all those things, all that energy back into me and right into my heart chakra. And I feel it kind of energize my body, and that's where I end the visualization. And I'll do this 2, 3, 4 times a day, or I could do it once a week. It doesn't really matter how often you do it. Of course, the better. I think the more often you do it, the better. But if you can only do it once, it's still better than nothing. So I'm going to give you guys a kind of a visual representation of what this looks like to me. So the first thing, once again, is I visualize the ball, and I visualize it just appearing in front of me, right in front of my heart chakra, just growing into the size of about a grapefruit or an orange. And there it is in front of me, and I can see it. And now I'm starting to feed it energy. I'm starting to feed it the corn dogs and the roller coasters and the sunshine and the relaxation and whatever other meanings I associate, all the positive feelings that I associate with going to Disneyland and having fun and being there. And I'm feeding it energy, and at some point, all of a sudden, it'll jump to, oh, there it is. Now it's jumped to, it's about the size of a beach ball now. So it's much larger. And I continue to feed it energy, and it just kind of accepts this energy, and it keeps pulling it in, and then at some point, all of a sudden, it'll just jump to the next level. So I keep feeding it energy, I keep thinking about those corn dogs and being in Disneyland and having fun, enjoying the sunshine, relaxing, going on roller coasters, and boom, it just expanded to about the size, half the size of this room. And once it reaches this point, it just begins to, I still feed it that energy, I still associate meaning to it, but it starts to take a life of its own, and boom, it just starts to grow bigger and bigger and fill the room. And now it's the size of my house, it's bigger, it's growing, it's the size of this whole city. Now it's grown to the size of the whole planet, and it fills the entire universe with this energy. And then I just let it be, I just let it go, and I let that energy be out there, pulling things towards me. And then when I feel ready, I basically collapse it back down and put it back into where my heart chakra would be. And I feel that energy coming towards me. Now, when I do that, when I collapse that wave and I pull it back into me, that energy wave, I'm collapsing it into me, and I'm pulling energy towards me, but at the same time, it's still out there. It's still out there working, and it's still out there arranging things and making things happen so that this event or this thing that I want, whatever it may be, is going to manifest for me. So that's a visualization technique that I've used before, and I recommend you guys try it out. It's a pretty cool visualization technique, and it does produce results. I've played around with it quite a bit, and it's amazing the kind of stuff that you can pull into your life with this. People that you'll all of a sudden meet, resources, you know, chance meetings, coincidences, weird things that'll happen. People will send you emails or contact you. You're just basically, it's like a magnet that's constantly pulling. So that's the last thing I'll say about this, is that when I visualize that big huge energy collapsing and going into my heart chakra, it doesn't just collapse and disintegrate and go into nothing. It's in there and it's doing its thing. You can't see it, but I can feel it inside, and it's basically like this giant magnet that's just pulling stuff, and it's constantly pulling it until the thing that I'm trying to manifests in my life. It's there and it's always running, and it's pulling and it's pulling and it's pulling and it's pulling. And the next time I do the visualization, it's already there. All I basically do is I just blow it out into the world and I make it huge again, and then I collapse it back and I put it back there. And that's basically what I do. So I hope that helps you guys out. I hope you guys try this out, and I hope you enjoy this visualization technique. All right, that's it for this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.